Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Millennial, right?
I've noticed.
Ooh. Ooh, this might be interesting. The perfect example of safe, edgy. Stop before they offend the producers. Yo, this looks good. Maybe I should look at that. I would say we need a WoW too, but not from Blizzard. There is a studio out there with the old Blizzard souls that may be something, but that might come out in like a decade. I don't know. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Hi, Taco. We are shitting on video games yet again. I hope you're ready. Late vegan! Late vegan! Why are you always late vegan? Stinky! If you aren't shitting on video games, you aren't a gamer. Well, I wouldn't have to shit on video games if they weren't shit, right, Parody? Tell him. Tell him, Parody. We're having millennial writing. I mean, I'll be honest. There is like an actual criteria to millennial writings. Is that millennials can't be a bad writer as they want and still keep their job. Yep. That is a good way to summarize this video. I'm ready though. Shits and farts everywhere? Fuck you. Private WoW servers still exist too. I still follow one. Just in case I get an itch for Wrath. I mean, Wrath is Wrath in right now, but I mean, I think the best thing possible would for Blizzard or for a game to evolve from Wrath. Like if they made Wrath Plus and it was actually good, I think that would make a lot of people happy, but I don't think they can do it because there is no creative light inside of Blizzard anymore. And the last one that was the creative light was with Overwatch, I think personally. Like Overwatch was their last sort of creative endeavor where they made the new IP and it was like original, fun. The game was pretty fun at the start. Blizzard let the flame die out. No, they didn't let them die out, so to speak. I think they drove them away because all the old devs that used to, you know, make the games that they made, they just ran away. They ran to different studios, and I think there's only like a couple of people left that just stuck around, and I think they're just like gonna stay for retirement, you know? Blizzard was too busy stealing titty milk to make good games. Yeah, too busy stealing titty milk and then censoring fucking girls and paintings and World of Warcraft Classic. So sad. It's hard to get anything done so fast with so many different departments. Yeah, it's hard. Like, how do you do what you need to do when you get so corporatized and so big? You need like 10 different approvals to get one tiny little thing done. Mention the internal problems of Blizzard. I don't even want to entertain the titty milk thing because it's like it's so heinous. Like, is that is like a true thing that happened, and then you go around and they act like they love women and this and that, but then they do that. You know, if they were like misogynistic like assholes and they're like, yeah, fuck women, we drink their titty milk, and then they made good games, I don't think people would care. I'm gonna be honest. I'd be like, that's horrible, but like at least they're transparent in their appearance, you know, like they hate women and they steal titty milk, like, you know what I mean? Like the evil is there blatant to see but not covered up in plain sight, you know? That's the horrible thing that makes it so much worse. Game good, we good? I mean, honestly, that is the culture that is perpetuated, you know? If the game was good, nobody would care. If Disney made good videos, they wouldn't care about, like, all those horrible things. People are weird? Absolutely. People are horrible. If I could extinguish all the bad things in the world, I would, but I can't because I'm not God and I'm not this entity. I'm not this, you know, far out fantasy you know, thing that can like snap their fingers and make it stop. I will never make the evil stop. I'm horrible? Tomic, shut up. You are not. Separate the art from the artist? Yeah, I mean, Diablo still makes great art, but shit. I am. You are not. You guys are honestly one of the nicest people I've met on the internet, and not just saying that because, you know, you're in my stream and I could just like wave a hand and like ban you instantly, you know, if you say something outrageous, but I've met some horrible people online. I'm not joking. What's up, Ziki? How are you doing? What the fuck? Nice? Yes, you are nice. I am one of those horrible people online. No, you're not. You're here every day. Scorn, people shy. Yes, people shy. I am kind of blushing thinking about this, but you know. I'm gonna go get some more food. Hell yeah. You're nice too. I think I'm stupid. I'm an evil nemesis main. No, Wrigley, you were like the nicest killer I've met in a long time. Don't say that. Alright, millennial writing. I'm ready.
It's a trend in writing. It seems to be getting more common over time. It's a certain type of writing that I'm trying to describe. The best term I can think of to call it is millennial writing. You'll find out why.
What's the picture?
The best term I can think of to call it
what is this?
Millennial
writing, and it's the nerd glasses and the fucking Shrek pickup.
You'll find out why. Okay, imagine this. You know those
Ziki,
tweets that are like, capitalism low-key
Trend and
killed
BL
our
writing,
vibe,
it sucks. Oh,
gaslit us into being okay with our bosses.
Capitalism low-key killed our vibe and gaslit us into being okay with our bosses and landlords taking our excess value. Giga Karen 8er. Okay, this is like a parody account, but also true.
Landlords taking our excess value. And then it has like 250,000 likes. I'm more so just referring to the Twitter style of speaking, the tone and affectation and vocabulary. Now, have you noticed this style of writing in modern games? I'll go through some examples to shed further light. Remember the cringe Saints Row reboot or new Tales from the Borderlands? There is undeniably a certain style here. By the way, I'm using footage with credit from YouTube for these. All within fair use, because I'm sorry, but why on earth would I want to play these games? Why would you
That's a good point. What if I have to criticize a game that I didn't really play up until like maybe a couple of hours in and I didn't have footage? Can I do that?
I
don't want to replay it just so I don't get struck.
Say what you will about Telltale movie games. Tales from the Borderlands was a very well written game with well wrought and interesting characters. It'd be reasonable to be excited for the follow-up to that on the basis of your enjoyment of the previous one. What you may forget is that this game isn't made by Telltale, it's Gearbox, who made Borderlands 3. Borderlands 3 is an excellent
Telltale
example
Games
of this
made the
style
first
as well.
one?
In fact, the gradual collapsing quality of Borderlands writing maps onto this trend really well. Borderlands 3 had excessive pop culture references, like a mission where you need to get the big
Find the big suck. Oh my god, man. Oof. 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 That is insanely cringe, man. That reminds me of like ads that pop up like from 2010 and they still have like references from like the 90s, like little pop culture things, and you're just like, who the fuck are you targeting at this rate? I was close to buying this, by the way. I remember because I never played Borderlands, but shit. Now imagine the entire game written like that. Oh, I don't have to imagine. I think Saints Row was like that. I was close to buying it too. Borderlands 2 was super fun. We need to do that quest. No, we do not.
Big suck. I can just imagine the millennial writers sitting back in their room chuckling at that.
Saints Row was sleeper. You're just a hater. No, I watched a review on it. It is absolutely heinous.
Wry grin on their
terrible.
face.
The remake was so bad.
They just unlocked. The main villains being streamers. It doesn't even say anything. It just has them as streamer cult leaders. Like, ooh, streamers are cult leaders. How so? At least have some sort
of— Ew! That is so unrelatable! Big Suck is so fucking funny. Not in my video game! Shut up! Saints Row 2 and 3 is good as fuck.
sort of evidence of that or present a critique. None of the characters
Is
are
not.
really built up, and there are no rewarding arcs. It's like the writers are entitled. They just expect that we care about these characters. The moments in the game don't carry any weight or impact. Maya's death was so obviously avoidable and contrived. An obnoxious character like Tiny Tina was acceptable in 2012, when we didn't know any better, but they just kept riffing on the same annoying aspects of these characters without moving on. They just can't let go of these lol so random characters. Why do I care if Atlas wins this corporate war? Apparently Maliwan is an evil corporation. Corporate assholes. But so are the guys we're fighting for. And the game just presents it as good and evil. They naturally cap it off with a girl power ending.
That is
despite
lazy
how
writing,
poorly
man.
they resolved the conflict between Ava and Lilith, you know, the protagonists of the story, and the brain-dead reveal of Tannis being a super powerful secret siren this whole time. And whenever they talk, they're always super verbose. They just keep talking and talking for far longer than is necessary. And if you
I hate that shit. And there's just so much talking when I'm like playing a shooter or something. It's so distracting for my ADD brain. When I played the end of this, I kept thinking there was more of the story that it just ended. Oh my lord, I hated that. I hated that. I forget in what game that was. Oh, recently. What game was it? What game was it? It was like right before the debut. I played a game and it was like so abrupt that I thought like I had more DLC. I like lore. I like lore too, but it has to have substance to it. I don't care. Like, oh, I'm whooping my ass. I love to dunk on kids. Like, who asked?
If you
by
have
the
no
way?
clue what I'm talking about, don't worry. It's nonsense anyway. I think there's this famous post that pretty excellently sums up Borderlands writing. They can't go one line without stuffing it full of ironic observation as their form of jokes. The normal line would be like, if you can get some fuel canisters, then I can reactivate the main generator and get our shields back up. I mark the objective on your map. Versus the Gearbox line, hey,
Oh my
buddy.
god.
Great job killing those mutants and all. You're really good at that. Shooting things, that is. One problemo, though. As it turns out, a bunch of monsters on this planet are
Oh my god, stop, man. This is like Left 4 Dead has this kind of writing, but it's literally 2 lines. Yes, it's essaying, exactly. I ain't reading all that. I hope he doesn't actually read it right.
Just read my
No,
I
don't
read the rest of it, but you get the idea.
I don't need to read that shit.
Now, imagine everything about Borderlands 3 writing.
I get it. It's
but
really
worse.
overinflated.
That is Tales from the Borderlands. The worst thing about Gearbox is that they just don't get the memo. Are they addicted to sniffing their own farts or something? Why aren't they trying to improve their writing
I fucking love sniffing farts. Oh yeah, I'm a writer.
literally everybody criticizes
Hi,
it?
Indigo.
New Agorex, who this?
They assassinate the character of Reese. In fact, he's basically a different character entirely to the one from Tales. Now he's the corporate arsehole, basically taking on the exact same role as his enemy in Tales. In Borderlands 3, there was some gag about how his favorite frozen yogurt place got destroyed.
That's it. Say goodbye to your favorite Frogurt stand.
Not friends, Frogurts, anything but friends, Frogurts.
It's so unrelatable.
Oh, I can just imagine it. Some 30-something with an English degree paid for by their parents whose greatest trauma, besides getting trolled on Twitter, is their favorite food place which they would visit in between sessions of making power...
I don't have a favorite brew place. I love sniffing farts. No, I don't. I was making a joke. Frick you, Matt.
points in their Mac shutting down.
Welcome aboard,
and they
Stinky.
brought that trauma into the game. Now apparently they
hungry.
thought this frozen yogurt gag was so funny that they had to revive it for the next game as the basis for one of the characters, as if it was some beloved gag. So this Frogurt place is on Promethea.
It's like an inside joke with the developers that other people don't really care about. I think it applies a lot to streamers as well, in a sense that if there's too many video releases, for example, I've had people ask me like, hey, do you want to include this clip of us like making an inside joke with each other that nobody else would understand except for like a select few? I feel like that really detracts from the experience and like the entertainment side of like being a content creator and also being in the video game department. Like the devs making this joke and being like, haha, this is so funny. Like nobody cares, man. Nobody thought it was funny. If they thought it was funny, they would tell you. Why did you just force feed it in
fictional
there?
planet that looks remarkably like San Francisco. And of course it's very diverse, or rather it reflects the demographics of San Francisco. If the point of representation is to introduce new
Where's
and
the shit
different
everywhere?
viewpoints, then this is achieving the exact opposite
If
of
it's San Francisco, there should be like a poop map.
it feels like these
Download an
stories
app.
only represent the experiences of
Tell me where the
young,
poop is.
wealthy, inner-city tech people from the coastal cities of America, an extremely small niche, Twitter addicts.
Hey, Papa Girardi! I can smell your space calzones from here!
Ah, thanks. I need a new name for them.
Might also need to stop doing that problematic accent.
Yeah,
Who the fuck is that? That is so dumb.
I know.
A lot of
Oh
the
yeah, there's lots of hobos in San Francisco. It's
references and
sad.
lingo just feel out of touch.
Miss Johnson! Did you get a cybernetic leg? That thing's straight fire.
Like they're trying to be younger than they actually are. A lot of the language feels like 5 years out of date. And there's a certain character design. The shaved on one side and long hair swept on the other, the brightly colored hair. It's extremely common. There are also adult characters who speak like children, or just generally
Not everybody
speak
does their
in
hair
a
like
really
that, by the way.
condescending or patronizing tone.
While I examine this unimaginably complex and priceless alien artifact, you may wait outside and steal anything not nailed down.
There was the new Saints Row reboot as well. We knew it was going
MCU level of comedy. Oh yeah. Old people trying to be relatable to younger people is just so cringe. But young people don't find this funny either. There's no
to be
target.
terrible before launch, and we weren't surprised at all. They made the main characters into a bunch of broke college kids, and they're all dealing with
Saints Row was so bad it hurts. Like I watched this, another guy made a video on it, and it was so
debt
bad.
and rent and complaining about capitalism. They try to borrow some internet lingo like wage slave. They're super verbose. They do not stop haranguing the player with dialogue, and they use expletives like they're meant to be edgy, or they're just funny on their own.
Goddamn fucking shitballs on a stick with a side order of mother-loving shit-smothered piss-covered ass!
Yes, it was the Sly Gunslinger. It was this guy.
It's like they get a kick out of swearing for no reason. Also, it's super funny that characters are talking about their carbon footprint.
Your carbon footprint always matters.
So relatable, am I right, fellow millennials?
Yeah,
People talk
very
about that on
relatable. I
Twitter,
worry
right?
about that.
They really do talk about capitalism a lot. They don't really say much about it, though. They just say the word, and we're supposed to think, I don't even know, like, wow, you're really culturally aware.
I've told you before, the idols are trying to build a post-capitalist society where money is not a
Saints Row is about fucking thugs stealing shit and doing stuff and being funny. What the hell is this? Their idea of hip and trendy humor is what a 40, 50-year-old would think would be funny and trendy. Yeah. Politics in my game. I mean, you can make a joke like once in a while, but when you're starting to take away from the game being a fantasy and trying to make it too relatable to the audience in real life, that's where you lose me. Why do you think Baldur's Gate is so successful? They don't include any fucking politics. They don't include any dumbass fucking inside jokes about the real world and like throwing in memes. Except for maybe like, you know, haha, we love cats or something. Or hey, here's a cute dog and everybody loves dogs and pet the dog, right? It's just, it's so weird. I'm worried about GTA 6 now? I don't know. I wouldn't know what that would be like in development. It's just shoving jokes down your throat for no reason. They didn't make any D's nuts jokes? Probably not.
The original series started as a GTA clone and got progressively more wacky and outlandish. The humor was extremely crass. It recognized the absurdity and cranked it up as
I freaking loved Saints Row 2 and 3, man. It was so good.
high as possible. It was self-aware before self-aware humor became really tired. They certainly did make pop culture references, but like
they did. It was
Borderlands,
funny.
this style of humor was more apt in 2012. It feels like they haven't
But even then, it was like relatable because everybody watched like like online streaming wasn't really a thing, so people sat down and watched TV shows, so people got these references. Half the references they put into this damn game, nobody fucking gets.
Really grown since then. They've had to tone
Saints
down
Row
a
4
lot
was
of
so
the most
shit.
vulgar
Yeah, it was.
elements
I
of
played
the
it.
humor from previous games, which just doesn't work because vulgarity was the core of the humor in them. And again, we see the same character.
I enjoy shit writing because it's shit. I get where you're coming from. It's just like when you try to sell a game to like gamers, it's like you don't really want to be ripped out of the fantasy of playing your game, and it's not really something a lot of people enjoy. Some people don't like cringe compilations and they tune it out because they don't want to be reminded of how cringe people are in real life. And that's totally fine. But it's just like some of the minority people of that group that don't want to watch that type of stuff. I totally get it. Same with like, I don't know, like spooky compilations or fuck, I don't know. Shit does not equal diarrhea. Wait, where did that come from? Bye, Tommy. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it.
Design, the Skrillex cut, the dyed hair. You see it in so many games, it's like they're reading from the same guidebook. Now, something that feels similar, but is harder to place my finger on, is the new Wolfenstein games. The New Order was alright.
Oh no, oh no, no, no. What do you mean I'm not a mecha unicorn that's secretly the demon king from beyond that's also the chosen one that restores time ways? Look, I want to play my video game. I want to be a VTuber. I want to be a cute VTuber girl and shake my tail and talk about cute stuff and funny stuff. Cute? Fuck you. Piss yourself. The new Saints Row remake dialogue had me dying. Granted, I didn't pay for it. I just saw streamers play it. I watched a compilation. I just thought it was really stupid.
Wolfenstein 2 started to introduce some weirdness, like throwing their fetishes into the game. But Youngblood is where the failure of the writing becomes really apparent. It's centered around these quirky twins who get up to silly antics in between bouts of killing people. It's strange how frivolous it is with violence. Of course, that certainly isn't a new thing, but in this game, the main characters seem to delight in it. That also isn't the weird part. It's that they delight in this violence, and there is nothing really wrong with it. They're not anti-heroes, they're just regular old protagonists. And it's just silly and fun. It's strangely flippant. I mean, the New Order wasn't like that. It did have over-the-top violence, but BJ Blazkowicz was motivated by a righteous fury and rage. He never really reveled in killing or celebrated it. There's also the loud equals funny yelling. Some of the new Wolfenstein writing just feels like the writers had some issues of their own to work on. It feels like they wanted to make a political statement that they just weren't equipped to make. High on Life is another super obvious example. It has all of the same hallmarks: overly verbose characters, unnecessary swearing as if it was funny on its own. I mean, I like Michael Cusack. Damo and Darren at the train station is one of the most quoted videos here in Australia. But man, the knifey character didn't work. They had a cameo from Psychic Pebbles as well, who is usually...
Isn't that game that was made for like Rick and Morty style like gamers, I guess? I like knifey. Well, this guy's keep in mind this guy who's talking about this is Australian, so he probably doesn't think that it was made for. I remember people were freaking out about it, and I was like, this doesn't look very good, but like, I don't know, I just won't play it.
Usually absolutely hilarious, but in this game, I don't think the bit really worked. I noticed there's a certain vocabulary as well. It wouldn't be unusual to hear words such as weird or shitty, and it is weird that the dude who, well, you know what he did, is calling anyone shitty. This kind of dialogue is really common. I feel like High on Life could have done with an editor. Somebody to cut like 90% of the dialogue, only leaving the best stuff in. As of right now, it seems like
Yeah, but that would hurt his ego. Someone cutting and criticizing his... like his baby, quote unquote, you know? I think he was proven innocent. I don't know. I didn't follow that.
Annoying equals funny. similarly to
This is from
loud
9 months
equals
ago or
funny.
something, so I
Destiny
don't know.
2 seems to have taken on some of this writing as well. Anna Bray is starting to sound like a Borderlands character.
My security frames are overrun. Is another example of your over-promise, under-deliver attitude?
Huh. None of that sounded like, Anna, please help me. I need you. They're killing me. Ow.
A simple yes would satisfy.
So quirky and sardonic. This type of
Destiny
delivery
2
sounds
Pepe laugh.
condescending. It reminds me of the boss from Office Space.
Yeah. If you could just go ahead and make sure you do that from now on, that would be great.
Great.
I'll be honest, I do not see the appeal.
fuck
And, you know,
that.
I can't really bring up
Classic.
millennial writing without at least mentioning indie Earthbound-inspired game that's secretly about depression and mental health. These tend not to have the exact same tropes. Now that I think of it, it wouldn't be unusual to find similar stuff in indie games. It's just that people in the comments are going to bring this up if you're going to talk about millennial games. So I think I'm starting to get a picture of it. The hallmarks of this style of writing that stick out to me from these and many more examples. The aforementioned vocabulary. Shitty, weird, gross, icky, yucky, yikes. My dude.
You call me cringe, but you're playing Destiny 2 Pepe laugh.
My guy. Y'all. And of course, decent human being. Another millennial phrase I tend to hear is, the bar is on the floor. It's funny how a lot of these phrases are kind of childish. I'm not sure whether they're trying to be condescending and
The bar is so low. Win.
infantilizing to others, or whether they are themselves infantilized. They so often sound passive-aggressive. Another millennial phrase that annoys me is do better or be better.
Oh my god, I fucking hate that fucking phrase. I'm honestly that fucking sets me the fuck off. Fucking do better. That is the most cringe word, I think, probably at least in my top 5 when I hear that on Twitter and someone's complaining and putting another person down on YouTube or like something they said on stream, and they say do better, and I'm like, oh, I want to die. It just sets me off. Do better, Choco. Yeah. Wasn't that like the climax of a Marvel show 3 years ago? I have no idea. Get good? But that's different, Parodi. Do better is like the most condescending thing. Getting Asian grandma PTSD? Shower better, Stinky. Shut up! I don't know, I fucking hate when people say get good. I think most people are saying that jokingly, but like, do better is that condescending line when people are like saying like, hey, you should like do better when you say something that I don't agree with. It's like, but it's my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. I don't have to get better. You just have to ignore my opinion. Suck my pee-pee. Good night, Earl. Thank you, thank you. Sleep tight, Stinky.
Again, talking down to you. It's insanely condescending. It just seems like a failure to grow up.
Yeah, the opposite would be sucks to suck. Exactly.
A lot of the humor seems like it's from the people who've struggled to grow up since 2012. It seems like they're emotionally stunted. And this is probably just me reading into it. And I see a lot of crossover with their being emotionally stunted and all of the pop culture references. It seems like some kind of identity that they're trying to cling to, that they can't let go of. I mean, Fallout 2, all the way back then, was full of pop culture references, but I don't know, back then, being a quote-unquote nerd was kind of a subculture of its own. It wasn't really something people aimed to be, it's just a label people got slapped with for the activities and sub.
I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna probably make a lot of people upset, but being a gamer and an anime enjoyer or anime girl enjoyer now is kind of the norm for most people. And I really don't like that at times, because there has been a noticeable increase of people being like, yeah, this is totally acceptable and it's okay to be like nerdy and like anime girls. But back then when I went to school, when I showed my face with a manga in my backpack, people would make fun of me and like drawing like anime girls in my notebook, or saying I watched like Doctor Who or something was like not the normal. The Dark Ages? Yeah, no, seriously. If I said I played World of Warcraft, which I kept hidden by the way, people would be like, oh my god, you're such a nerd. Stop. By the time League came out, it was like a little bit more normalized. Manga was traded under the table when I grew up. Yeah, we didn't have manga books until like maybe like I don't know, a really long time into my like school years. I never talked about WoW or watching Death Note. Yep, never did. I remember being talked down for being a girl playing COD. Aw, that is so sad. I never played COD, but I watched my brother play it, so it's like I just kept like my WoW playing a secret because nobody said they played it when I was in school. I think I found out one Asian guy named Alex played WoW, and then he said, yeah, I kind of quit because it got in the way of my studying, and I'm like, aw, darn it. It's crazy because my schools, nobody cared about what you watched or enjoyed. It was all about your fits. Yeah, that sucks ass. 500k VIP now? Oh my lord, that's a whole lot of dosh.
Towards. It was to make fun of them. Now, nerd is like a market demographic. It seems that being a self-admitted nerd and being obsessed with pop culture is based purely around cynical consumption nowadays. And obviously nothing epitomizes this more than the Funko Pop, which is like a religious icon for millennials.
I fucking hate Funko Pops. They're so ugly looking too. They're just hideous to look at. Like what? That's Sasuke? Like it's just so low quality. It's not even cool looking. It's dumb. Top 1 reasons for not having babies. Keep buying toys for yourself. Bro, relax. It's ugly. That doesn't look like Sasuke. Hi, Jada, what's up?
Culture is based purely around cynical consumption nowadays.
And wait, what? No. What is that? Jealous? Oh my god, that's horrible. It looks like a baby. Top 1 reasons for not having babies, not having a baby. Exactly. You be an adult and say shit. Be like, I just don't want a child.
More than the Funko Pop, which is like a religious icon for millennials. The pop culture obsession seems to stem from an inability or refusal to grow up. The kinds of references that were funny in 2007 and tolerable in 2012 are just embarrassing now. There are other hallmarks, like letting you pet the doggo, because that's a Twitter account, right?
Yeah, but that's fine. They include that in games and it's wholesome, it's harmless. It's like, it's timeless, so to speak, you know? Can you pet the dog? That is a timeless thing that started from like, I don't know, 2008 or something.
Having quips everywhere that undermine dramatic moments. Having an easy mode called Tell Me a Story or Story Mode. Letting you skip bosses or parts of the gameplay. Making the game easier if you fail too many times. I also just wanted to mention a few tweets because people speak like this on Twitter, and I think that's where it comes from. And once you see enough of this, you start to recognize this style when you see it in media. Tuesday, the day you realize that nothing can stop you, because you are a magic skeleton packed with meat and animated with electricity and imagination. You have a cave in your face full of
I read this kind of stuff when I was like on Tumblr. I was really into Tumblr back in the day. I've already lived this. I don't need to relive it again. I'm fine with being an adult and moving on with my humor, but there's still people who have this like inclination to relive this Tumblr-esque, Twitter-esque stuff that was left behind by the internet in 2015. This is a post from 2018, by the way. It's just so insane. Spin the wheel, it cringes too much.
Sharp bones and 5 tentacles at the end of each arm. You can do anything, magic skeleton. Between Bernie, my ex-wife, the tenant from hell, and general chump fuckery, this has been a cromulent fuck crustable
fuck crust of
a day. Tommy needy drinky. Kanye is a teeny weeny little baby bitch muffin. What you'll
bitch muffin, dude. I said that in fucking primary school, dude. Oh, bitch muffin. That's a classic. I haven't heard that in like 10 years. Bitch muffin. Who the fuck says that unironically?
Is the playground insults mixed with swearing, and they're talking in a baby language, like with these invented words that they just came up with. Beyond that, there's all the references to student debt. So relatable, am I right, fellow millennials?
Again, why do you have to remind people of their problems? Why do you have to do this shit? It's the same principles like, hey, you have credit card debt. Have you paid your mortgage recently? Avocado toast, coffee, Starbucks.
Ironic
like,
that the
oh
people
my God,
who talk about
I just want
representing
to play my
broader viewpoints
game.
and life experiences seem to make the same few jokes that only appeal to a tiny group of people who are like them. Degree in English from major coastal cities of the USA. The student debt thing is also meant to be their social commentary, and that brings us to the juiciest part, the politics. A game like Saints Row keeps referencing capitalism, as if it was offering some sort of critique, but it's not really saying anything. A lot of these games seem to just reference political events or social issues because it's like they feel obliged to. They do these political things, not because they have anything to say, but because they think they have to say something. This is because of Twitter, and just social media in general, at least partly. Maybe 5 or 6 years ago, the complaints about how they're politicizing video games were coming to a head. We need to stop-
hey, that's the Activin, look at that!
Politicizing this escapist hobby. Then some Redditors from a place named Gaming Circle Jerk took these complaints and ran with them. They've been telling their singular joke for like 6 years now. Actually, Chud, games have always been political.
Chud.
Then showing examples of-
Chud! Learn the difference. No politic good, half politic bad. It could save your life. Wait, Fallout does have politics though. Fallout does have politics. It's just like different though. It's
old
fictional.
games and how they made some political statement.
War dehumanizes those fighting it. Consumers is unstable. Will bring the world down us. Class disparity and racism are bad. American exceptionalism is a suicidal and destructive worldview. Wow, cool wasteland. No. You just think about it while you're playing the fucking cool game, you fucking dumbass. The game is cool! These are all like side grades, like these are character building things and makes it relatable, but the game itself is still like cool to play.
Every meme since then has been some variant of le gamers, le politics. It's also paired with the statement that all art is political, and games, as art, are making a political statement, even if they don't overtly comment on anything. Saying nothing is a sign that you tacitly affirm the status quo. You aren't fighting.
Wait, but if I play AoE 2 campaigns and reenact the Spanish taking over the Americas, you know, I'm really concerned about stuff like that reenact history, that one day we will come full circles and try to ban or at least like censor those types of things like they didn't happen. It's just so fucking insane to me that that's like a dystopian thought that we could have in the future potentially. Like, think about it. Something historical happened and you play it out in a video game and someone could say no. It's mad we're edging closer to it? Oh,
fighting
God.
hard enough against capitalism if you aren't speaking out against it. And it seems that they've reached game devs with this message. I think it's a common enough sentiment that many game devs feel obliged to say something, to make a statement about politics, even when they don't really have anything of value to say. And it shows. Oftentimes these political allegories and references to capitalism just feel phoned in, like in Saints Row. It isn't really saying anything, it's just making the references because I guess it looks like that's what people want when you look at social.
But you don't want that! Real gamers don't post on Twitter! I learned this the hard way. People on, like, in my stream don't fucking use Twitter because Twitter is fucking cringe! Nobody, like, there's a fraction of my viewership that checks my Twitter, and the only other way I can contact them and let them know that I'm going live is on Discord and maybe on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? This small fraction of the VTuber community lives on Twitter. I use Twitter for art. Yeah, no, absolutely. But I'm saying you are the small minority. The people that even use the art side of Twitter to like look at models, look at VTubers, and look at that kind of stuff is the smallest thing. It's minute. Most people use like YouTube and like Discord. I'm gonna be honest. I think that's the biggest demographic. Yeah.
Social media. Am I right? Do my moots on the Bird app agree with this? We talk about this all the time. Same with Borderlands. It's maybe trying to make a statement about evil corporations.
Corporate asshat.
But you fight for corporations the whole time. And I just want to take a moment to compare the capital P politics in games versus how old games would present political issues. In all those older games, it was more of an idea that was presented. It was often aware of the nuance, and it didn't force your opinion on the matter. It'd perhaps present you with a choice and an ethical quandary to bring you to question your own beliefs. It respected the player's intelligence. Of course, the writers of those games had intent. They would frame things in such a way that it made their ideology seem favorable, but it'd never force your hand, and it never felt like they were trying to force any
people writing with moral ethics and story building and character building in mind. That's crazy.
Message. The political message that could be gleaned from the game arises naturally as a result of the setting. Contrary to what Redditors claim, Fallout was not created as a political allegory. It was.
It wasn't. Wait, let me see this meme. What? Living in California fucking sucks. War is humanity's greatest sin, and we are doomed to partake in it for eternity, for it never changes. Unchecked corporate power and consumerism will not only be the death of our society, but also our talent. Bro!
Fallout was not created as a
they were
political
not
allegory.
in Cali.
It was.
Was Fallout ever done in Cali? Because I know that Fallout 3 was in DC. Fallout 4 was in Virginia, the state of Virginia. Cyberpunk wasn't in Cali, it was a fucking desert, it's like Arizona. Fallout 3 was in DC? I think so. Was I wrong? Fallout 1 and 2 are California? Okay, that's fair then, but 3 and 4 are not.
First of all, a dumb, absurdly violent, ridiculously bleak game with crazy guns and mutants. There were of course ethical quandaries and political dilemmas presented as part of the setting that could be applied to the contemporary world.
Fallout 4 was in Boston. Oh shit, it wasn't Virginia, it was in fucking Massachusetts and Boston, yeah. I forgot.
It never portrayed communism favorably.
I don't know why I said
didn't
Virginia.
really
I guess
say
it's
much
because
of
of the
anything
song.
about it. It was mostly focused on America and American culture, and any of the critiques rose out of that setting. Now compare it to the politics in current games. It often feels like a
Fallout 76, yeah, I think so.
reference to current thing. It's often things which do not suit the setting. It never explores any ideas in depth. It simply tells you things, rather than presenting something and allowing you to think about it. I think that's the crux of it. It's about respecting the player's intelligence, allowing you to work things out on your own, to choose for yourself, to come to your own conclusion. Of course, we can't have people making their own choice nowadays. They might make the wrong one. I think condescending some.
I hate that shit. If you don't choose the things that I like, I don't want you playing my game. It's so insulting. A single sprinkle of thought. Oh yeah, that's how backseating became a thing. Oh yeah, pretty sure. Yeah, kind of. Backseating always existed, but I think it was exemplified a lot. Yeah, sure. Some dudes in Poland made a game to show that living in California sucks. Sure, yeah.
Sums it up perfectly. They think you're stupid. They're also kind of pretentious. A lot of this political writing presents the most basic opinions and acts like you've never heard them before, like they just blew your mind, like it's something revolutionary. Now, why did millennial writing rise in the first place?
I'll let him talk. I'll let this guy fucking cook. Let us fuck the bear. Yeah, in BG3 you can fuck the bear. Nobody cares. There's no politics. You're just out there running around doing your thing. They respect the
I
player. They let them do what it
legitimately
wants.
think it is Twitter. Look, for a business's continued survival, it needs to adapt constantly. When you stop growing, you start dying. So you need to look at current trends. What is an easy way to see current trends?
Social media, and social media is totally not wrong 90% of the time anyway. It doesn't have the actual public opinion that is accurate to the everyday Joe that goes from 9 to 5 to work, you know? Mr. Average Joe does not sit on Twitter and post about their problems and their opinions. He just goes to work and plays his video game and has fun.
Why? The way everyone communicates. Social media. I think that writers, devs, and producers are getting their idea of what constitutes current trends from Twitter, which I think is really misguided for the simple fact that Twitter does not represent broader society. Most of what you'll hear on Twitter comes from a very small, very vocal minority. And hey, for a while the FBI was basically deciding who is and isn't allowed to have a voice on that side. I think that producers should look out.
Wait. I didn't know that. Shows how much I do. How much I use social media. There's always a bear on the flag of California. It's always California, dude. I still don't know why California has a bear on its flag, but you know what? It's a cool bear.
Elsewhere to get an idea of broader society, somewhere besides social media. It only elevates fringe voices. I guess this does kind of destroy the whole argument that Twitter is just a private company which doesn't really control much of public discourse. Twitter, for a private company, holds an extreme amount of power over public dialogue, and it's the same with every social media site. I have to say,
well, it's just crazy because hardly anybody uses Twitter, but it's such a go-to for people to like keep track of like current events and quote unquote public opinion. It just seems insane to me.
It was pretty funny to me seeing Unishek, the community manager for Halo Infinite, borrow some of the cynical and condescending language from Gaming Circle Jerk, only to get screenshotted and roasted on the.
Wait, game devs aren't allowed the basic necessity of vacation PTO unless they agree to be on call. Posted by the senior community manager. Should game developers be allowed to take? Yes, while on call. No.
Site himself. It was hilarious to see that backfire, I will admit. So, you know, I guess the advice I'd give to producers is the same advice I'd give to everybody. Unplug. Shut off social media for a bit. Live in the
I wish I could, man. I really wish I could.
And don't be so condescending. And get to the point. Please subscribe. Thank you all so very much for watching. And goodbye. You can do anything, Magic Skeleton.
You can do anything, Magic Skeleton. Shredded Nerd! Ooh, Shredded Nerd. Ooh. Yeah, cool video. Please check them out. They clearly make good videos. This was 6 months ago. Very cool. Very cool. Operation Soygate. I like that. The origin of every soy jack explained. That's cute. 1 million whole views. Yeah, it's a good video. It's well produced. A little bit of commentary. Damn, Alana showed her down badness for a bit right there. Look, I am a human being. I like things. That was a better video than I expected, Alana. Really? You thought it was gonna be badge? Nah. If you're exposed to Twitter, you're kind of hardened to why people act the way they do IRL nowadays. I don't think people act the way they do on Twitter in real life. I think that's very rare. Human being, weren't you a cat? No! The kind of things... Bro, are we gonna really turn this into like a lewd conversation when we're talking about video games? Come on. It's great to be watching what I have in my watch later folder with you guys. Let's go! Ew,